Hello and welcome to the New Mindset Podcast. This is Georgia.
And this is Jacob.
How you going, Jacob?
I am very good.
You good?
Very relaxed, very calm.
Zen? Peaceful?
I'm feeling in a good mood. I'm feeling in a very good mood.
That's good.
I don't exactly know why, but I'm feeling in a very good mood.
Maybe refreshed?
A little refreshed.
Refreshed.
Well, you said before, it's the calm before the storm. So now I'm a little anxious about the storm.
Okay. Okay.
But no, I'm feeling good. Feeling good. What have we got? 13 days into our wedding.
Yeah.
I know 30 seconds of the dance. I've got to figure out the next minute and a half.
That's my homework after this.
Yeah. So, a little anxious now, actually. Thank you very much. But no, I'm all right.
No, we'll...
Everyone's got to do it. If you get married, you got to do the dance. So,
yeah,
what's the worst? That's what I ask myself. That's what I tell myself when I'm really anxious about something.
Everyone's got to do it.
Everyone's got it. Like when I had my wisdom teeth out, I was very anxious about that.
Well, I haven't done that.
Well, no, like if you've got to have your wisdom teeth out, you got to have them out, and the amount of people that have had them out and they were fine. So it's all good.
Oh, it's good.
It's like, why would I be any different? Why would I be any different with the dance? You may ask. Well, I'm very unco when it comes to music and dance and movement. Not movement, but dance.
Just timing with music is
Anything
not a
like
strong suit of yours.
artistic.
Like if you get Jacob to do a rhythm, we do this game sometimes where we have to clap the rhythm of a song and we have to just guess the other song.
Yep.
Jacob can't do it.
No.
No.
Not musically gifted.
No, he's
How
not.
are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great.
You said you hit a wall.
I did hit a wall. I am slightly tired.
You're coming back now?
But I will come back.
Cool.
Yes.
Good.
As you share your expertise, your knowledge, your experience.
You're large.
In this space. We've got the topic, and I just like the way that you've crafted this title.
Yeah, I'm getting creative with the titles.
Yeah.
Trying.
How to catch depression before it strikes.
Yeah. I might jump into the why that title is what it is. So recently, obviously my focus is anxiety and depression and trauma I'm learning. Focus is anxiety and depression. Yours is confidence.
Yes.
Anything else to add on that? Anything else? What else are you looking after?
Self and crowd confidence.
There it is. All right, cool. But depression. So I've recently learned the art of being able to catch my own depression before it hits me. And that's a massive thing because, for so long, it would just hit for many people. If you've got depression, it just hits you. And it's like, damn, like I was in such a good mood, in a good place, but I'm still depressed. And why? We may not be able to answer the why, but we will be able to pick up the clues that life will leave behind it. The little crumbs that it will leave. Yeah, beforehand, before the storm of depression hits you. And that's what I've sort of been able to, through a lot of, I'd say honestly, through like 3 or 4 years of just being very vigilant with it, I can now, spot that pattern. That pattern of behaviour that leaves those crumbs, and I can get on it before it hits, or at least alleviate a lot of the symptoms that depression loves to leave and hit you with. That was my reasoning for that title, how to catch it before it hits.
And just to add on there, as a support person, like you've told me about some of those signs as well. So you've told me like, hey, if there is, if you notice that I don't do this, can you bring me up on it so that we can catch the depression before it spirals?
That's one of our points.
Oh.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you for jumping ahead, though.
All right.
That's all right. Cool.
Well, let's start with the first one then that you've got. Do you want to just give us a little bit of a summary on what is depression in your personal opinion?
Yes, because depression's like anxiety, like anything, is very complicated. It's very difficult to label something or define something when we don't 100% know what it is. Like, we don't know how it's caused. I presume technology in future will figure that out for us. But now
and as well our education too.
Education. Well, we don't know if it's learned behaviour. We don't know if it's genetic. We don't know if it's, we don't know. But this is the best I could do. So depression is a constant feeling of sadness and a loss of interest in things that, you're interested in, which prevents you from doing your normal activities. There are different severities of depression, and usually depression does not result from one single event. Most importantly, depression is a mental illness, not an emotion. So a lot of the times we say anxiety is an emotion. Everyone feels anxiety. It's just the anxiety disorder when it goes too far and it interferes with your life. Well, depression's different. Depression is a mental illness. It's not an emotion. So not everyone has depression.
Yeah, but when people say, I feel depressed.
Yep.
Can you elaborate on that?
We're jumping into a topic here. That pisses me off.
Yeah.
So if someone has genuine depression, yes, you can be depressed. You are in a depression. I don't buy the whole narrative that anyone can be depressed or have depression.
So then what is it that they're feeling if they're not feeling depressed?
They're obviously, some people it's a throwaway line.
Yeah.
It's it's just a throwaway line of today's a bad day or I'm feeling in a real crap mood or I'm upset at the moment, so I'm going to call it depressed. Like a lot of people use anxious. They feel anxious, but, they may not be anxious. They might just be a little worried. Anxiety is an excessive, strong version of worry, but they might just be worried. So, yeah, that's how I would say to that. I think social media has had a big thing to do with that, with, trends and a lot of people, in life, you aim with social people and you want to be in amongst other people and you want to be in groups and pairs and things like that. And, a lot of people feel depressed and anxious. So that's the big word that we want to use to be quote unquote cool or in with the group. I know at school, everyone thought we had depression. Everyone thought we had anxiety. And now it's just gotten worse through TikTok, especially because these are short form videos of teenagers recording themselves saying how bad life is and how depressed they are. But yeah, that's where I sit on that.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that was coming up, but
no, that's okay.
That's an episode in itself because I have very strong feelings toward that.
Well, we will note that down and address that at another time.
Yeah, like yeah. I won't get into it too much further. I'll leave that for when I have
that's fine.
mental clarity.
Well, then maybe we can jump in and just say, what is your personal experience that you've had with depression then?
Yeah, so obviously, like I'm studying it. We're going to further study it. But my own personal experience, we like to add that in our own personal experience. So, you can relate to us on a human level and we're not just lecturing or we're not just, we actually...
Sharing facts with no background.
Yeah. So for depression, so I was diagnosed with, it wasn't severe. My anxiety was severe, but depression was like a mild when I was diagnosed with it when I was about 9 or 10. And back then I really didn't know what it was. So I was like, okay. Anxiety was my main focus back then and has been. Depression's always been that little thing on the side for me that's grows and grows and grows if I don't look after it. But my depression follows suit when I do not execute on my 1% efforts over a period of time. So that being, brushing your teeth, exercise obviously is a big one. We all know exercise is good. We all know how to exercise. It's just the commitment to exercising.
Yeah.
Sleep is a big one. If you want to find out the circadian rhythm, we did a post on that the other day and how crazy it is if that gets thrown out of rhythm. A lot of your just biology gets thrown out with it. I've said exercise, even just looking after myself mentally. So, ice bath, I've been slack with, but that makes me feel so good. Falling behind on work is a 1% effort. Yoga, not that I do yoga, but stretching. And diet. Those are probably my 1% efforts.
Personal hygiene?
Yeah, teeth and shower, I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like if I don't do those, then you can almost guarantee that something's coming. And that's normal for everyone. I point out there, like, if you don't look after yourself, you're going to feel crap. Mine just brings on the depression. So it's more than just, I'm feeling off today. It's more than that. And this is the big one that I've actually found out of recent. Just obviously, I've said my anxiety has been real severe the last year or so. If I do not take care of my anxiety, the depression will 100% follow. And in 48 hours, I've tracked it. It's 48 hours. So if I'm on high alert for a long period of time and I'm not respecting that relationship with anxiety and I'm sort of just taking advantage of it, you can, like, it's like clockwork.
Yeah.
2 days later, I'm now depressed. And it's tough. So that's my personal experience with it. Yeah. And I've medicated anxiety and also depression. And I'll say it, like, I got off the medication for how long do you reckon? A few years?
I'd say 2.
2 years. So I was on it from about age 10 till 22. And then I jumped off, age 9 or 10 to 21, and then I jumped off it for 2 years. And yeah, things were good. And then obviously panic attacks started to come back. So I jumped back on it. And the medicine I'm on also helps depression. So I'd say that is my sort of, personal experience with it.
Yeah, no, cool.
Overall, yeah.
Yeah. No, that sounds, yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on how, and we kind of did touch on this before, of where when someone feels as though that they experience depression.
Yep.
But depression's not the emotion. So how then does depression differ from someone experiencing sadness?
Yeah. So there will be 1,000 different reasons. I've just written down how many have I got here? 5. Because obviously we want to keep our podcast to under 25 minutes, hopefully, for our beautiful James, our editor, who pleads with me. But depression does not resolve on its own. With sadness, you can go, okay, I'm just going to sleep on it. I'm going to sleep on it, and tomorrow, you normally feel better.
Yeah.
Depression ain't going to do that. You got to, get off your butt, basically, and work through it yourself. Or with whoever, whatever you do, you got to do it. It's just not going to resolve. That's a big one. What else have I got here? Depression, obviously, I've said it, it's much stronger than just a wave of negativity, as anyone out there knows. It's hard to be empathetic to something that you don't feel. So I don't expect, this is just for someone that's depressed, don't expect empathy from others, because how can I empathise with you, Georgia, for instance? You're a diabetic, type 1, so how can I empathise with you? I don't know. I know the challenges that you go through, but I can't feel it. I can sympathise.
But I guess empathising, though, is connecting with the same emotion that you're feeling.
Yeah.
And just sitting there in that emotion. But are you saying because people with depression...
Depression's such
it's not an emotion, so people can't empathise with it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, depression is so strong that if you weren't to have depression, how can you relate to it? How can you feel those feelings when you don't have it? You know what I mean?
This is such a good conversation for another time. I'd love to have it. I'd love to actually unpack that in more detail.
Well, quickly, what do you mean?
Well, I just mean that the whole point of empathy, the definition of empathy, is the fact that you don't have to experience the exact same thing.
No.
But you should be able to relate to another person through connecting in some way of experiencing that same emotion.
Yep.
But if depression's not an emotion, if I experience true, deep hurt and pain and
trauma,
all of the horrible feelings, should I be able to empathise with you?
Well, what you're
Someone
describing,
experiencing depression?
Trauma? You're describing trauma? Trauma and depression are different.
Yes,
Both
I know
very
that
strong.
they're different, but should...
Well, I'll give you an example. So, just quick, with World War, we look back 100 years ago and we can say, that sucks. That would have sucked. That's terrible, what they would have gone through. I could only imagine what they would have gone through. I suppose what I can, we're somewhat empathising with the situation of that would have been terrible. That would have been disgusting. How could we have even gone through that? But I can't feel what they went through. So how can I?
But that's I feel like that's understanding. Whereas empathy is I cannot experience the same. I cannot have the same experience that you are having, but I can understand that there is a feeling that you are feeling, and I feel, and I'm connecting with the feeling that you're experiencing, not the actual experience you're having.
So you're saying because depression's not a feeling, it's a disorder. How can someone feel or empathise with that, relate to it?
Yeah, well, just then when you said
Yep.
you can't, people with depression don't feel as though that people can empathise with you because they can't.
Yep.
But you're saying that depression's not a feeling.
Yeah. I'm saying I don't expect, I'm just saying don't expect people to empathise with you because people, we should all respect each other and be kind to each other. But yeah, just don't expect someone to like 100% understand exactly how you are feeling because it's very difficult to. It's tough. I don't want you to ever feel what I feel when I'm completely depressed. I would hate for you to feel that. But it's, sometimes when you're going through something, you just want someone else that's related to it.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of the time we see psychologists because they may have not gone through it, but they really understand it through years and years and years of study and examples.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm sort of getting at.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you now.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, don't go to a friend and expect them to, they're going to respect you if they're a friend, if they're a good friend, they're going to respect you and they're going to listen and they're going to be kind and meet you with kindness. But, all I can really say to you with diabetes, that looks really tough and that sucks. And I'm so sorry that you've got to, when you've got your bad days, but I can't feel what you're feeling. Like I can't feel the challenges that I see it, but I can't feel it. I can't put myself in your shoes as much as I can, but I can't.
Okay.
That's what I'm sort of getting at. And I might be wrong. That's just my sort of feeling around it.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of using that for depression because depression's such a strong illness that, like, it just, we all know, we don't like to talk about depression. I don't hear a lot about it on podcasts because it's such a strong, it's so strong. And of the word that often gets associated is suicide, and that's tough to talk about. And we'll have an episode on that on its own eventually.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just such a strong, so I'm just saying, you're never alone, but don't expect someone to completely understand where you're coming from. Like, this is your battle.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to get out of this, it's not like sadness. Like I said, it's not going to resolve on its own.
Yeah.
Like, you got to push through. You've got to, like I always say, it may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility to look after it. It's your issue.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my fault that I've got depression, but it's my issue. I can, like, who else is going to look after it?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do I move on?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm happy for you to pull me. And we've all got different definitions of things, so your empathy might be different to mine. That's fine. Depression interferes with daily life. And I feel with sadness, most of the time you can sort of push through those tasks of, going to work or university or make the bed and things like that. If you're sad about losing a dog or anything like that, or sad, anything that makes you sad, if we always say women experience negative emotion more than men, obviously, because biology. And if, you like women, like, when you're feeling, vulnerable and negative in a wave, your sadness, you can sort of watch a movie and sleep and then, you're better the next day.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with depression.
Yeah.
And I've got here, sadness comes on as a result of an event of depression. Sorry, sadness comes on as a result. And sorry, can I just read this? What have I written here? I wrote this really late at night. Sorry, give me a moment.
Sadness comes on as a result of an event, whereas depression can come on when someone is still at their best.
Englishing that for me.
That's okay.
So sadness comes on because of a loss of something or whatever makes you sad. I get sad when I watch what's the movie? Pursuit of Happiness. That makes me sad.
So sad.
So sad. So sad. But, depression can hit you when you're at your best. Like, I remember, like, in a game of cricket, I'll be there and I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
It just hit me. And
It's happened a few times with us.
Yeah.
Like, when we've been in a really nice, happy space.
Yeah.
And then I've noticed a shift in you and it just comes on.
Yeah, and I hate it because I know you can feel it.
Yeah.
Around me. People can feel it around me because it's just this cloud.
Yeah.
So, thank you for Englishing that. It's just hits you and you could be at your absolute best. You could be working out, you could be doing everything, but it could still hit. Yeah. What else have I got here? And hopelessness is obviously another word that gets associated with depression and suicide. But so sadness, hopelessness can be linked with sadness, but it's heavily linked with depression, I find anyway. When I'm depressed, it's like, you're hopeless. You got all this negative talk. But that's a word that often pops up for me. Yeah, so there's 100,000 other reasons why depression is different. But I can see why they get mixed up, definitely.
Yeah.
or, conjoined.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess with all of that in mind, in terms of keeping how it's different from sadness, what can someone do when they feel as though either they feel a wave coming on or before a wave comes on? Like, what are some like preventative things that people can do to just stop it and keep it at bay?
Yes. Yep. If you feel the wave coming on, it's normally a little too late.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, unless you get really good at it.
When you say good at it,
like good at
what do you mean?
noticing. Well, if you're intrigued, we always say you should be intrigued by yourself. It's it's you.
Inquire, yeah.
Yeah, like
be fascinated with yourself.
Be fascinated. But I've got here journal every day as a check-in to follow your trends. So that's what I said right at the beginning.
I know.
So the trends of, and we'll get this when we've got our website up. I'll post mine, and if you find it useful, cool. If you don't, that's fine. At least you gave it a crack. But I find if you stick at it long enough, you can sort of follow your trends. And, a lot of us, we become, you pick up good habits and you pick up bad habits along the way. And you only notice that when it's really bad. And, now you've got an eating disorder because you have just eaten like crap for 2 years. And now, you've built this.
Feelings.
Yeah. Now you've built this habit of, food and negative emotion. And now it's all conjoined. But if you really journaled and thought through and followed your trends, you may have picked that up earlier. I'm not saying you would have, but I'm saying you possibly could have. Or you possibly could have sought help earlier before it became a major issue. And that's what I've written there. So good and bad. So mine are, I've got those 1% checklists because I've set up there at the start of the podcast, if I don't follow my 1%ers, then I'm asking for depression. So now I follow it. I still get depressed, but nowhere near as much. And when I do, I can rationalize it because I can go back 2 weeks and go, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So for a week there, I didn't exercise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can sort of say, yeah, well, I brought that on myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're depressed, you just want something to blame. You want something to be angry at. Well, there it is right there.
Yeah.
Be angry at yourself. But not too much, like rationalize it. Like, okay, I didn't exercise. I'm pissed off. I'm going to make sure I exercise.
Yeah.
And yeah, because we found out recently I've got like the lactose intolerance. And I was so mad sometimes when I had a panic attack and it went through my stomach, but I had no idea I was lactose intolerant. But now that I'm able to rationalize it, it sort of takes that power away, that anger. It's like, okay, what have I eaten? Okay, I had the bloody strawberry cream or Oreos that may contain bloody. This got me the other day, so I'm a little passionate about this right now. Happened yesterday.
Yeah, we found out that Oreos are not truly vegan.
Yep, don't do it. Well, vegan. I'm not vegan, but lactose intolerant. May contain milk and.
But milk is an animal product.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm not a vegan.
Oh yeah.
I trialed vegan.
Oh, okay, I got you. You're strongly passionate about the dairy free, not the vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dairy free. I don't want to be. I have to be dairy free, unfortunately.
Yes.
Even though we're going to Japan and everything looks.
Soft subject.
Yeah, I'm depressed.
Move on. Don't get warped.
This is a thing that you said, ask for honesty from those closest to you. They could pick up trends before you do. So, and I put in here in brackets, remember you asked for it.
Yes.
Because I sometimes can get snappy with you, which I don't like. It's a bad habit of mine when you pick up something that I haven't, like you're like, when I lay down in bed, you're like, you haven't showered today. I'm like, stop it, go away. But it's like, okay, you're right, I haven't showered. And this is possibly a sign.
Yeah.
May or may not be that, I could be going down that little track that's going to open up into this big wave of depression.
Yeah.
But yeah, remember, if you want to have it on your own, like if you want to take on depression on your own, then be willing to, somewhat face it alone, I suppose. But if I want input from you, I've got to be willing to take it when it hurts, I suppose. Like when I don't want to hear it, I've still got to be willing to hear it because I've asked for it. Like I said, with journaling here, I've got listen to the voice inside of your head and see if it changes. So we all know that voice inside of our head. If you've had those conversations with yourself and if you're just being intrigued by you know that voice and you know when that voice changes. And when that voice changes, why did it change? think about why did it change and what is it saying to me. And that's oftentimes an indicator of what you're going to feel in a few days, because it doesn't normally go away when you're depressed.
Yeah.
And what else have I got here? Stay social. This is a big one. So stay social if you feel a wave incoming, because people are key and human connection is key. Obviously, the people that you choose matter. So I'm saying, you don't have to go out with the bestest friends in the world, but, just making sure if, you work in office or if you work on a site, just go in there, because social is what we need. If you have depression,
As people.
Yeah, like it's easy to beat yourself up when you're in a room on your own in a dark room and nothing's going on, and the top clock is just ticking along.
Yeah.
Nothing's improving, and you're feeling sorry for yourself and you're pissed off.
Yeah.
But like stay social. Like I know that's hard, easier said than done, but if you catch the wave before it hits you, then oftentimes that just other people can help you get out of it. Yeah, I think in future I'd love to be able to talk about that empathy.
Yeah, I'd love to unpack that a little bit more.
And obviously we'll discuss suicide on its own sort of podcast. It'll probably be like a two-parter because of how deep it can be. It is. But yeah, I enjoyed that podcast. I just thought that was an important topic.
Yeah, that was a lot of personal experience.
Yeah.
And I guess we should probably share like everything that Jacob shares about depression. It has been from personal experience. So if you need any further support, please make sure that you go and seek that.
Yes. Like I wouldn't have gotten through it if I didn't have, the select people around me.
Yeah.
So it's tough to go through it on your own.
And the support of your psychologist too.
Yes.
Yeah.
My psych.
Has been fabulous.
And mum probably helped me heaps. Three people.
Yeah.
But yeah, like make sure you surround yourself with a good network. And you don't have to tell everyone that you've got it. It's your choice. It's your choice. But if you want someone to hold you accountable as well as you, just make sure that person is the right person to do so. Like I picked you after how many years? We would have been together for like 5.
5 years.
And it's like, hey, can you do this for me?
Yeah.
And it's like, yep, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
No, I like that.
Very good.
Are you ready for my checkout question?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I listened to a podcast recently and it was about this man that was an autobiographist. That's certainly not English.
Word?
No, it's not. Shut up. But he followed Steve Jobs and who's Tesla?
Who's Tesla? Elon,
yeah. Followed them around for a year. And that was like his job. Like he lived in their house and literally just shadowed them to create their biographies.
Yeah.
If that was your job, who would you follow around for an entire year? Like you wouldn't live here, you would live there with them and just follow them around.
Can you go first for me?
I don't know. I just made that up on the spot.
Oh.
So I don't have someone. But we have to pick someone quickly.
Jeez. I really like a lot of controversial people. Can they? Do they have to be alive now?
Yeah. Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Purely because I am truly fascinated about how he fits everything into a day. Would be Mr. Tony Robbins.
Mr. Tony Robbins.
Mr. Tony Robbins.
Who you met?
Uncle Toby. Tony.
Toby?
Oh my God.
Yeah, you really care about it. Really
Uncle Tony. Yeah, I'm just fascinated by how he, can do the amount that he does and own over 100 companies, and manage them all. So that'd be fascinating.
Yeah.
To see that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh God, it's such a good question because it's so hard.
Must be someone alive today.
Yeah.
You've got 5 more seconds.
Like a sportsman's not really. I don't think that's worth it.
Time's up. Who are you picking?
Couldn't it go like back in past like 20 years ago?
Hello. What do you mean? No, someone now.
Someone's alive now, but
Someone
can I go back
alive.
to their prime?
No.
Oh,
no.
what the heck?
Well, they could tell you all about it. Okay, I'll give you that. I would
love
you can go
to
back
go
in their
back
prime.
for a year.
Michael Clark's prime.
No, Michael Jordan.
Oh.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. I would have loved to like been around the team, the Chicago Bulls. Not that I'm a basketball fan at all, to be honest, but that's just they're just the personalities.
Their
that
doco
coach
was so cool.
and he has, I presume he was a captain. He was a leader. That the personalities that I had to wrangle in and get the best out of, that would have just been insane to follow. And the parties looked pretty cool. Not that I'm a big party person. Maybe one party I'll go to, and then they can just tell me about the rest.
Yeah,
that's
that's
me.
cool. I like that.
Thank you for letting me go back in time because I had no one, to be honest, right now.
Oh.
I don't know who I'd follow now.
Well, on that note,
I'd follow Winston for a year, see what he gets up to. Oh, I really want to put a camera on Winston and just see what he gets up to for the wedding and even just day to day. That would be
just
so
put
cool.
a little GoPro on him.
It's like, what do you get up
We'll
to?
actually see if we can organise that, I reckon.
Oh, God, okay. Cool. Thank
Well,
you
take
very
care,
much.
everyone. Have a good night, day, evening, morning, weekend, weekday, wherever you're listening.
Month. Quarter. 6 months.
Bye now.
1 year. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.